Jared, how are you doing?
Hey, Mark. Hi, everybody. Great conference so far. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Just want to say thank you to you and the unit team for having me back as a speaker. I'm Jared Ginsberg, founder CEO of Class Act Sports. It's a digital sports media company focusing on athletes that give back to the community. Everything, it's all about a lifestyle, class act, giving back, doing the right thing, leading by example. So when I started Class Act Sports 11 years ago, it was really, that was the main mission, to really just promote positivity. And then ultimately through making connections in the industry, interviewing athletes and doing all these things, that led me to kind of where we are today, which it's wild. NFTs have been the missing piece. Like basically I was building for a decade with our team, and NFTs have been the missing piece to kind of bring it all together, to engage the community, to engage the fans, to give people an opportunity to have real assets and collectibles and just be part of this booming industry and incredible innovation. So today I'm going to be discussing sports and how it relates to crypto, NFTs, and the blockchain world. As it's been an incredible opportunity for teams and players to integrate into the ecosystem and engage fans and stay socially connected. It's also an opportunity for collectors to be able to buy, sell, and collect new digital assets, take part in the growth of the booming industry. So really what I'm most passionate about ultimately is making sure that the NFTs have utility. Because with the utility, being these NFTs used as these social keys for unlockables, essentially, that's going to lead to the sustainability, the longevity, and ultimately, if the collectors are winning, then the platforms can win, and so on and so forth, and brands and artists alike. So we actually, when I came into the space, Polygon was taking off. I've been in crypto for 3.5 years. When I found Matic on the Binance platform 2 years ago, I really started to learn a lot more about the opportunities for scale. And the previous conference that I was speaking on was basically about Polygon and taking those the layer twos that are taking things to the next level. So it's just so fascinating to just see how everything is tying all together, and you have different technologies that are being built. I do believe that 2022 is going to be the year of not only blockchain gaming, but ultimately cross-chain platform interoperability. Everything's got to be interoperable if you really want to scale. But some people have preferences in certain blockchains, and ultimately, there's just incredible opportunities for what's going down in the industry. I'm seeing a comment, my thoughts on Binance Smart Chain. I mean, ultimately, I think that there's incredible opportunities for many blockchains out there, and each of them have their own little skills, have their skill sets and have their strengths. And ultimately, there's individual ecosystems plugging in. So it's really cool to be able to see it all come together. When it comes to being a collector, when Matic Polygon was taking off, I started taking some funds and moving it into NFTs, specifically NBA Top Shot. Which ultimately we use it as a tool to engage our fans with the fantasy sports product Gone Streaking that we've been working on for the past few years. And it's just been so cool because then we entered the rabbit hole of NFTs, and ultimately we were working with, we were doing the Gronk drop, the Mahomes drop. We were involved as collectors. Then we wanted to enter the space because I felt like we can create real utility in the space from a marketplace standpoint. So over the last year, we've been building Invaluable, which is going to be debuting very soon within the next, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to do our first drop December 1st. It's powered by Polygon. It's full circle, as we talked about, being able to integrate in the space. Let's talk about utility in terms of NFTs in the sports world. So as we know, it's an opportunity to engage with people with experiences. So just last night, I'm here in New York City. We're headquartered based here. Top Shot ran an event. What's interesting is like basically this in-person event in New York City during NFT NYC week. It's just been an incredible opportunity to meet people, network with like-minded individuals looking to grow and build in the space. They also had everyone come to the Knicks game, when we were sitting in the crowd, a couple of us, we had some Bored Ape merch. So many people out of nowhere just start coming over to us. Hey, what's up? Oh, we're a Bored Ape too, this, that, and the other. So we talk about this social community. And people have it for different reasons. Some people have it to be part of the culture. Other people have it as some sort of social status. Some people have it to just be able to build, as I mentioned, and as collectors like we are, we're going to take our assets and build on top of them. We're going to create a digital animated series and introduce our sporting project, which I'll touch on towards the end of this presentation. And so we're building and we're creating and we're building on top of and with our NFT assets. So yesterday, it was just an incredible event that NBA Top Shot put on. Got a chance to see some artists perform, really great music, and also just meeting people in person. It's incredibly special. It really is, like, to be able to bridge the gap between physical and digital. And I look at NFTs and it's like, if you have an NFT collection or a specific that someone else does, it immediately eliminates the barrier of skepticism when you're meeting somebody, because ultimately they're ready to roll. They know your role and everything's just ready to go. So it's just so cool to be able to connect and network with so many people, but it's incredibly positive. Twitter, I believe, has had a resurgence from NFTs, and NFTs surge because of the rise in crypto, ultimately with more liquidity. And Twitter's been an incredible vehicle used for people to engage and socially interact. So ultimately, I just think it's like a perfect storm. And basically with Twitter, I just have noticed only positivity, at least through our feeds and what we put out there, people that follow us. So ultimately, like, we just want to be connected with positive people looking to build and grow in the space. There's many, many opportunities for athletes and teams to continue to get involved and engage. I'll provide some examples on some ways that athletes can benefit. Basically, the athletes are able to engage and monetize their fan base digitally. There's opportunities for them to create social tokens to almost let the fans be involved. Maybe they'll have a revenue deals or sponsorship deals. They can partake in kind of doing some rev split with the people that are purchasing their social tokens. Also, as we talked about earlier, just the social keys, these unlockables. So it's an opportunity for the fans and athletes to get connected, meet each other, whether it's FaceTimes, whether it's in-person events, as well as the players engaging on social media with the people within the community. So ultimately, there's so much more to crypto than just when moon. At the end of the day, we've just been building and just being part of the whole community to be able to add value and utility to the space. There's an opportunity here for many teams to maybe consider doing something from fractionalized ownership, almost like digital equity within the teams. Ultimately, fans would maybe have an opportunity to earn bonuses and maybe even share in profit from merchandise sales, or something like an opportunity for rev share through NFTs that are sold through the teams and brands. So say for example, the Warriors, they came into the NFT space. They were the first to do it from the NBA. And then ultimately, imagine the Warriors had a social token, an NFT token that we could have been a part of that ecosystem. And then ultimately, as their NFTs sales boom, we'd be able to partake in some of the rev split. So there's a way to completely engage and benefit the entire space. There's so much room for growth. In the beginning of the football season, NFL actually mentioned they don't want advertisements with crypto, at least not yet, not this year. They don't want the NFTs just quite yet. They are going to be doing something with Flow. So they're definitely entering the space. But there's incredible opportunities here because NFL will continue to adapt this once they see the fans have a hunger for this stuff. So there's going to be so many opportunities for teams and brands to get involved, and sports. It's just going to be, it's obviously one of the most popular industries just generically in the world. So when NFTs are booming and blockchain and crypto, the fact that sports, we really haven't even seen it fully integrated and fully taken off yet, but it's coming, and it's definitely coming very quickly. As I mentioned earlier, we were involved in the Gronk drop, who's the first player to do the NFT, which was really cool. We wanted to be able to support that. We've done some work with him in the past. Also the Patrick Mahomes drop. Now, this was an incredible learning lesson for us. Mahomes is an incredible player, really nice looking assets too. But the floor in the assets have dropped ultimately because it hasn't really shown a lot of utility. It's just almost like digital art. But ultimately, there's no reason why they can't say, put something out maybe in the off season, say anyone who owns a Mahomes NFT will be able to have a FaceTime call. Or if you own the most NFTs, you'll be able to do that. Maybe you'll be able to come to one of his charity events and do certain things like that. So there's just, it was just diving in head first as a collector has allowed myself and our team to just learn. And ultimately, it's just completely authentic. We wanted to be able to build and innovate in the space, things that are not being done quite yet, and ultimately be able to collaborate with many people and many companies within the space. Also, quickly, just wanted to tell you a little bit more about us. We have a top 100 Top Shot account because we just wanted to kind of show that we were within the industry, but there's many ways that we can kind of collaborate, do giveaways, give away a lot of our moments. We connect with people on Twitter, socially, like with that, as well as there's many other things that are going on. So Gone Streaking and the Invaluable team consists of avid NFT collectors and creators, and we have combined decades of years experience in the crypto blockchain industry, as well as the passion to innovate and add value along with utility within the community. Ultimately, what we're looking to be doing is we're actually going to be working on a blockchain gaming project. I would love to share a little bit more about with you guys. And yeah, just really love to see a lot of teams getting involved. You saw the New Jersey Devils get involved, so the NHL is in. You see the MLB doing some licensed collectibles and videos with a few different projects. So there's many different teams, players, and ultimately brands getting involved. And right now, I'd like to share with you guys a little bit more about our ecosystem of the Invaluable Club. And we're going to be doing some drops with many athletes that we've made relationships with over the years. Any NFT purchase through Invaluable is going to get you access into our multiverse. And in there, you'll be able to play games, go to concerts, interact with people, and really live in this alternative world. As we all know, there's many metaverses coming. We want to be more of a multiverse because it's going to link in with a lot of other things we're doing. So it's not just one thing. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Mark, are you able to see my screen there?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So here's a preview of the Invaluable Marketplace, which ultimately we're working on that multiverse where people will be able to come in. We're going to introduce live streaming capabilities with any athlete and artists that are involved with the drops. So people will really be able to engage. And ultimately, like, that's really what's most exciting. As I mentioned, we want to be able to innovate. We don't see a lot of these things going down right now. It's almost just like buy this, mint that. And ultimately people just trying to scoop up the floor and flip this, that, the other. That's, as we mentioned, we're more of just long-term builders in the space, and we want to be able to create an ecosystem where all of the collectors and people part of our ecosystem are going to be able to benefit and be able to create digital wealth ultimately for themselves. So here we have one of our first drops is going to be on December 1st. We're dropping with a former NFL pro, Ed Too Tall Jones. If you're familiar with one of the Geico commercials, they say, is Ed Too Tall Jones too tall to do this or whatever? So he's getting a lot of publicity. He's a former Dallas Cowboy. We have a lot of other athletes that are going to be coming onto the platform, actors and celebs and different things. So ultimately, I was excited to be able to share with you guys what we're working on here. We've touched on Invaluable. We've touched on virtual, which actually I would love to kind of get into. So the virtual, what we want to do with blockchain gaming is basically introduce the world's first sports metaverse. So ultimately, I have one more quick 30-40 second video I'd love to share with you guys. And then I'll share with you some of the screens behind virtual and what we're really thinking. And then ultimately happy to answer any questions.
Is this supposed to be a sound or just?
You're not hearing the music?
No, or just okay.
Well, if you're not hearing the music, it's not going to hit. So I mean,
now we do it. So at the end,
okay.
I heard it.
Okay. So that's the virtual sports league. We're going to be introducing this in Q1 2022. It's going to be the world's first sports metaverse where people are going to be able to own their own franchise. And these franchises are going to be represented by cities around the world. So it's really cool that the fact that people are going to be able to own their franchise as an NFT. And ultimately, there will only be one New York City. There will only be one Tokyo. There will only be one London. So ultimately, there's going to be cities. We're gonna probably roll out 1,500 franchises total. Eventually, we'll scale to other sports. But ultimately, your players are the NFTs. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically integrate some AI where we can create some overall rankings for the players based on the collections. So we want to bring utility for all the collections. So people will be able to bring in their Bored Apes. They'll be able to bring in their CryptoPunks. They'll be able to bring in Gutter Cat Gang. Any collection that we're going to let people bring in to give utility to their collections. Now, ultimately, the Bored Apes, of course, they're going to start out in the mid 80s to mid 90s. Some of the lower tier collections based on floor price, they may start out in the C tier, in the 70s, 60s. But here's what's really cool about this. People will be able to purchase attributes with NFTs and different things to be able to enhance their players, their teams. And ultimately, as they're contributing to their players and teams and their rankings are going up, we're going to introduce through phase 2, we're going to introduce simulated gaming, which will definitely impact how your teams are doing. And people will be able to move up in tiers, ultimately get to the playoffs, and basically play for the championship. When people are winning and moving up the tiers, they're going to earn exclusive high-end NFTs that we're going to be able to create. We'll be able to do some, maybe create some videos, like a 15-second video of a player doing something cool. And ultimately that can be like a play could become an NFT. And there's definitely just a major roadway ahead for us to be able to, there's a major runway for us to be able to build and continue to innovate here. What's really cool as well is some of these franchises out here are worth a lot of money in real life. And ultimately, some of them are losing money, believe it or not. With the virtual sports league, as you're going to be able to stake our tokens, you're going to be able to not only earn tokens, be able to generate revenue for your franchise. So that's why we believe that these franchises eventually can be worth north of $1 million. There's a ton of, we'll see what the price of ETH is at that point. So definitely, there's many different things we're going to introduce. Basically, it's going to be called boosting, which is basically staking, but ultimately you're able to enhance your attributes for your players. So you're able to boost. So you're earning rewards by staking, but you're also boosting your players. And I'll just quickly take you through just a few more screenshots. Each of the players are going to have certain attributes. You'll be able to edit your lineup and run this like a real franchise. So eventually you'll be able to have naming rights for your team. You'll be able to potentially own these franchises fractionally with other players around the world. When I say players, there are some athletes that can want to get involved with owning a franchise. We know athletes are buying Bored Apes. They're buying into the Gutter Cat Gang. They're buying into their. So why would an athlete not want to own a franchise? Why would they not want to put that on the map? Ultimately, people are going to be able to enhance their stadiums, and there's many different add-ons that they'll be able to build. What's really cool about this is as they're adding on, what's going on is they're adding value to their franchise. So ultimately, as they're adding value, they're going to give themselves a better chance to basically succeed within the ecosystem, earn more coins, create more digital wealth. And ultimately, what's going to happen is as they're earning all of those tokens and building the value of their franchise, building the value of the players, they'll be able to sell the assets as well if they wanted to. With some things like Madden, where people plug in and pay to upgrade their team, no, those are sunk costs. Nobody can ever take that out. With the virtual sports league, the money that people invest into the ecosystem, you're going to be able to create more value for yourself as the ecosystem continues to thrive. And you'll ultimately be able to potentially monetize and be able to take money off the table, as opposed to some of these other things that have existed, to where they're really, it's just one way, money in, no money out. So definitely appreciate the opportunity to have been, going through all this stuff with you guys. And there's a lot more where this came from. We're really excited to the journey ahead. And like I said, just love to see what's the teams and brands and leagues getting involved. We're happy to play a part of the growth, and we look forward to continue pioneering alongside some of the best innovators in the industry. So thank you very much to the Unit team. And this concludes my presentation. Would love to open it up to some questions.
Thank you very much, Jared. That was wonderful. And until we wait for some more questions from the group, I have a couple. And like, what exactly are you doing? Maybe I missed this part. So you're doing like this metaverse where you can put like your NFTs in there, and how does the game actually look like? Or
okay. So we have two things that we're ultimately the Invaluable Club, Invaluable Marketplace. We're going to do drops with athletes. Any NFT that and other artists. So it's not just sports related, but any collection is going to earn people access into the Invaluable Club. Now that's a multiverse we're working on, more related to concerts, like movies. People be able to trade together, do whatever, just really be able to interact in this alternative world. Now the virtual sports portion is a separate metaverse, which is ultimately going to be linked. People will be able that are involved with Invaluable are going to get pretty much first dibs on what we're doing with virtual. And what virtual is, it's an ecosystem where people bring in their NFT. First of all, we're going to be selling franchises. So there's going to be randomized mint. People will be able to, for our top 50, we're going to do a very exclusive high-end bid, but people will be able to mint randomly as well. We're working on the pricing right now. And ultimately, as I mentioned, when people bring in their NFTs, phase 2, we're going to introduce simulated gaming. So you'll be able to initially build up your team, contribute, bring in some swag attributes, this, that, and the other, build up your NFTs, just build them up, build up your team. And then when it's go time and the season starts sometime in probably Q2 2022, there's going to be simulated gaming. And as the simulations are going on, you're going to be moving up the rankings, earning NFTs. And I actually missed this part at the end. When you win, when someone wins the virtual sports league, they're going to win real jewelry. We're going to send people real goods. So people are going to be winning championship rings, very high-end rings. So they're going to be earning digital NFTs. They're going to be creating value for their franchise. They're going to be earning real jewelry. Guys, I definitely would love for you to think outside the box. Like, you have esports. We're going to create our own industry within the industry, which is basically V Sports, which is basically the virtual sports league.
Wow, super mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been fun to just It's crazy to think about kind of where these things all came from, honestly, but it's incredibly humbling to have an opportunity to do this, to build, to grow, to collaborate. And ultimately, this is not just about me. This is not just about our team. This is about everyone. It's about the entire ecosystem. We want to be able to create value and opportunities to create digital wealth, digital worth for everybody involved with our ecosystem that believes in us and believes in our platforms. So that's what hits home and hits hard for me. I take it very seriously. In terms of looking out for the collectors and making sure this is all buttoned up. We've had opportunities to launch, to generate revenue through the NFT boom. We did not want to do that until we were fully ready. So as people are minting like crazy, these other successful profile pic projects, this, that, and the other, we just wanted to continue to put our heads down and build. And now we're on the precipice of the launch. And we really look forward to building and growing with all of you. Is there a minimum recommended amount someone should expect to deposit into the system? I don't think it's not necessarily going to be a minimum. I think we're still working on in terms of how to integrate the NFT purchases and ultimately be able to enhance your teams. But it's definitely going to be a very fair system. But there's going to be an opportunity for people who really want to invest. Whether it's a whale or someone who wants to be a whale, there's going to be opportunities for people to really enhance their team. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. If you don't want to spend like a whale, you can you say you own the team, or you can go in on owning the team with someone. That's where the fractionalized ownership comes from. So imagine 5 of you guys and girls own a team together, competing versus one other person. They're the ones that are going to have to front attributes and building up their team. The 5 people as part of the fractionalized ownership of that franchise, there's going to be voting shares. There's going to be opportunities to see, okay, how do you want to spend your dollars as far as enhancing your NFTs and your attributes? So you can bring in 10 people if you want. And then there's going to be 10 people enhancing your team. So you can get to $100,000 franchise very quickly based on how your team's performing. Where do these numbers come from? They come from real revenue, because we've generated investment privately, we're going to be launching the Streak token in Q1 2022. And ultimately you'll be able to farm the Streak token and stake that to earn the virtual token. And the virtual tokens are what you're going to be able to, there's going to be a massive staking pool for people to be able to earn these tokens, to be able to contribute. So you're going to be able to stake your coins and earn real revenue for your franchises. And that's where the real value of these franchises lies. It's not just some made up number, like some of these other collections that just go off of a floor price. This is real. These are real dollars and cents, and most certainly in crypto. Like blockchain has been the missing piece to bring all of this innovation together.
Great. And you mentioned like 50 metaverses, something like this, or franchises. How,
Yes.
For example, if I would like to buy one, is there like some kind of whitelist I have to go through first, or how would the process look like?
Absolutely. So we've just been more concerned with the Invaluable launch, which is launching. If anyone wanted to go, I'll type it here and pre-register. It's invaluable.club. You can pre-register on there. But in terms of the virtual sports league, we're introducing that in Q1 2022. Eventually, we'll have an opportunity for the whitelist, as you mentioned. We're powered by Polygon, so ultimately there's going to be no transaction, like very limited, negligible transaction fees. So the scale will be there. We heard that their bridge the bridge time is improving vastly. So there's going to be a very seamless onboarding process. And ultimately, there will be a minting of the 1,500 franchises, aside from, say, the top 50 that are going to be as bids. Those franchises, you could be in any city in the world. You can compete and hang with the best of them. It doesn't matter what the city is. It's a matter of what you want to contribute and build within the ecosystem. So we will be doing a mint of the 1,500 franchises. That's where people will be able to get involved. And when it comes closer to that time, I'm happy to share more details and share the link with you. Maybe you can help us get the word out about that so people can be part of the whitelist and see if they're interested. So this is definitely going to be a high-end project, though, that, we do expect to, we're investing a lot into this project. This is definitely going to be it's going to be a commitment and investment for someone looking to get involved. And if they're looking for a lower risk of the appetite, that's where the fractionalized comes in from. So this is really for anyone. No one's too big or too small for our platform. And we're really looking forward to just continue to build and grow and innovate within the space.
Great. And how does like your overall roadmap looks like? As far as I understood, next quarter and 2022 is going to be the launch, but like the mid to long-term roadmap.
Right. So our roadmap for Invaluable, we're going to be launching. We're going to be launching with if actually the roadmap is at the bottom. If you go to Invaluable, if you go to invaluable.club, our roadmap for Invaluable is there, which it talks about the streak token. It's towards the bottom of the page, where eventually we're going to be building out our community. We're going to be dropping exclusive collections. We have 10 Hall of Famers already lined up for NFT drops, and we're going to integrate people to be able to meet the athletes. So there's two things in parallel eventually as we go forward into 2022. It's the Invaluable Club and marketplace with what we're doing to create NFTs with utility. And it's the virtual sports ecosystem if people want to be able to own their own city and own their own franchise. We're eventually going to be, we'll launch the streak token in January, February. We're going to be integrating payment in with the marketplace with the token. We'll be introducing burn mechanisms if people are paying with the token. So it's going to be hyper utility, hyper deflationary coin. Eventually, we look forward to introducing profit redistribution to streak holders, launching staking pools, exchange listings, more exclusive drops. So we definitely have a very jam-packed roadmap ahead for both Invaluable and virtual.
Sounds super good. Sounds like an amazing project. And how is your team look like? Like who is your team?
So we have a team of 10. It's just people we've picked up over the just over the years, and just an incredible team. It's so cool to be able to collaborate with people that we've helped build Class Act Sports, but then new people in the industry. We have artists. Project 14 is in London. We have an artist, an incredible person. He's in Hungary. We have a team here in New York. So we are global, it's worldwide. We have a team of 10 people that just specialize with certain skill sets, whether it's from artists, from the dev standpoint, marketing, community, building out, strategizing. And ultimately, for me, this is a 24/7 thing. I work on this 24/7. I'm 34, single, family oriented, but ultimately, like, my goal is to make this a household name, an incredibly valuable ecosystem. And ultimately, as I mentioned to you, being able to create a lot of value for everybody coming in, and really just continue to build. So maybe someday there'll be a time for me to handle a little more of my personal life, but right now it's just been about building nonstop.
Yeah, I can see that you're totally in it.
Yes.
Great to see that. It's a great project, and especially because of the interoperability with the other NFTs. That's the future. I mean, like, yeah,
Mark, thank you, Mark. That's the key. Like, as I mentioned, we want to add value and bring utility to the space. What better way to do it than to be able to integrate with many collections? Because when people are just buying and flipping a JPEG, it's definitely not my style. We buy, we hold, we build around the assets, and that's okay. I guess there's a market to be had for the flipping. But ultimately, as we were discussing, there's just ways for people to be benefiting from holding certain NFTs. So if you hold this one, and let's just say the floor is 0.01, but now it's got value in the virtual sports league, there's no reason for that floor to remain at 0.01. So we want to be able to bring that value to all of the NFTs and be able to add utility at every turn.
Right, that makes sense. So grow sustainable and not just like buy in and flip, just like have like some organic holding.
Exactly. And being, the whole interoperability that we discussed, and really we'll be announcing a little bit more forward facing with integrating with Polygon. We definitely look forward to being one of the mainstays within their ecosystem amongst all of the other great projects that are being built within the ecosystem. So there's just room for so much growth. There's an opportunity for us to potentially integrate with Flow. We're considering, doing that as well, because it's a little bit more of a play with sports and just the whole sports ecosystem. But ultimately, as we were talking about with Polygon Studios and everything they're doing with blockchain gaming, it's just so interesting. We have to make it work for multiple blockchains and make sure the cross-chain interoperability is there.
Great. Wonderful project.
Thank you all for the opportunity. I know I threw a lot at you guys here, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to hit us up on Twitter. I'm going to drop our Twitter there is @GoneStreakin. Gone Streakin's our fantasy sports app, which is not related to blockchain right now, but we are involved with a blockchain project called the Spoiled Banana Society, which are dynamic fantasy sports NFTs, and that was through integrating with other Bored Apes in the ecosystem. So just so much collaboration and opportunities for growth, and really appreciate the opportunity to talk with all of you today, and looking forward to much more with all you guys. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Jared. It has been a very nice session, and yeah, maybe we will see you again in 6 months for the next conference. I hope you had a successful launch until then, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And the goal is, between the next time that we're going to talk in 6 months, let's all see the progress that has been made. God willing, we're going to just continue to work and pound away at this thing, and just continue to invest our time, effort, and dollars, because we believe in what's going down, and we want to make sure something's going to be incredibly sustainable and fun for the entire ecosystem and all the people involved with what we have going on. So thank you. Looking forward to showing you guys all the progress.
Thank you very much, Jared. We stay in touch, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mark. Thank
See
you
you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in. That was the World Sports Forum. I wish you all a great day.